Good morning. Been thinking about some things lately. I did a college paper last week, I believe, and it was a real interesting assignment. We had to talk about if somebody was in a foreign country and how we would approach them versus how we would approach somebody in the United States of America. What would be key differences? And I did Guatemala, a place I visited, and I learned some things about Guatemala, maybe relearn some things, but you can't, when it comes to political discourse, you can't really, you get a lot more room to talk here about dictatorships, communists, Hitler, Nazi, Soviet Lenin, and all that. And all of those, and Pol Pot, and all those crazy people, and we get to compare them to each other, to our leaders, all the time. And that's great that we have the freedom to do that, and we have the freedom to learn about those things, because it gives us the power to warn each other that even though it's not that bad here, it can get that bad if we're not careful. And that's why we do it. And we do it also because we can get away with it. And you do, in a place of free speech where you are comfortable, you do have to say some more dramatic material in order to get attention here, as opposed to maybe other places where you don't have to be so strong language. In Guatemala, if you talk that way we do about Joe Biden and Trump, you could really escalate some problems just by people hearing it the wrong way or considering it things, because because of their fresh out of Civil War phase, there is a possibility that you will stir an overreaction from people who are stressed out and undergoing serious damages from what has already happened to them. And some of these people, not just one country, but many countries all over the world, will come in the United States of America. And their introduction to this place might be what we say about each other and even about our own leadership. And while we want to be honest and we want to say what's on our mind and say what's on our heart, speak our truth, our version of truth may not be what somebody needs to hear. When you come into the USA, I mean, imagine this. You're coming from a country, you've been oppressed by this dictator, you escaped from a gulag or whatever. And then you sneak into the USA and you think, okay, I'm peaceful and I'm happy. All of a sudden people come up to you and go, get out of here. It's a dictatorship. Joe Biden's tearing everybody apart. Donald Trump is going to throw people into death camps and stuff. There you go. Man, I mean, but this is the freest country. Where am I supposed to go? All of a sudden, this place that is beautiful has all these rich people in it, has all this opportunity in it. You worked your entire life. This is your dream. You're here. You made it. And that's what you hear. This week is the anniversary of Independence Day, signing of the Declaration of Independence, as well as the anniversary of Gettysburg. And the Gettysburg thing, is kind of, it just keeps humility in check. It's just, I mean, that's happened to people. They were coming off of these ships. They made it to America. They're happy to land in New York or wherever, and from Ireland. And Ireland has undergone several problems. And almost right away, they give these immigrants a firearm and say, we have to go to war. We have to protect all this. They just got here. Their first taste of America is war. It's blood. It's invasion. It's darkness. You might hear about slavery. You might hear about these things. And so, yes, while it's important to bring up important topics, it's also important to put into consideration, and I'm not saying you should cancel culture, but part of the reason why we can't have cancel culture is so that you have the freedom to discipline yourself and engage in discourse that is welcoming, warming, not burning all the time, but just warming. And just bring people to meet by a campfire instead of always hurting each other, instead of always starting a wildfire. And I just want you to just think about what you're saying and the impact it might have to others around you. Because you may just be talking, you may be speaking what's on your mind, you may be trying to figure things out, and that's great. That's what I do too. But you may need to reconsider some of your history and reconsider some things. I've lost some friends over the years. And usually when I lose friends and, or I lose people, they stop talking to me, I constantly, there's a tendency to blame myself. And there's some responsibility to that, but one friend I had used to talk to was just always negative about everything. Didn't matter which side of the political aisle they were on, when I agreed with this person, it was kind of harder to see it than when I disagreed, and that's normal. But one of the things was that, at the times when we disagreed, one of the things is that, talking about people who love this country and see it through rose-colored lenses. Their argument was they see this country through rose-colored lenses. I said, well, you're just as blind if you're looking at the country through blood-colored lenses as well. And ever since I made that argument, I've thought about that. It was like, yeah, okay. It doesn't mean you don't acknowledge the roses. It doesn't mean you don't acknowledge the blood. You acknowledge both, but they're not the only part of the overall field. It's a lot bigger than that. And it is a beautiful mess. So when Independence Day comes up, and Independence Day was kind of a beautiful moment in the midst of a really nasty, ugly war that was already being fought for at least a year by that point. And then there was also and it was going to go on for the next several years, and it was just sickening. But the conversation at Independence Hall, people sitting down, writing down their grievances, and with the system they had, and the problems with the system they had, and then establishing a recognition of God-given rights without even having to overly explain it or bloviate conversation. They just had a beautiful document. That's something pretty incredible to have. And when you have that conversation about everything that went down at Gettysburg and, how this country tore itself apart and sent people often against their will, to fight, die, kill on battlefields they didn't ask to be. And what we consider to be all in the name of freeing people who were just working aimlessly on fields. And then it works, and we got that freedom in both cases. But it was not, but that freedom we got was not easy to get. And it's even harder to maintain. And part of the ways we maintain it is by being peaceful. And by considering that others have value. So I just want you to think about, like, yes, we have some recent issues and some long-serving issues. And, what's going on in our presidential thing is not my favorite moment historically. But people are coming here because they love it. They love the idea. And maybe they have a different idea of what is available here. I notice people like America more than they like Americans. But they only like America because of Americans. And they just don't realize how incredible it is and how much work has been done. How can you? Even I've worked tirelessly studying Native American history, Black history, Irish history. I'm kind of trying to look more into Norwegian American history since that's where my family's from, but and then Christian history, and it's all part of it's all part of this country. It's all a really big, beautiful mess, and I just hope that encourages you to speak peacefully and lovingly and with enthusiasm about each other and about others, and with a lot of appreciation. Because the truth is that we could be living in a country that only listens to German music, or only listens to Norwegians, or only listens to Greek, like the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding, where everything is Greek. And everybody's, you should be proud to be Greek and all of that. Well, you can be happy with your heritage. I certainly love mine, but I've got more American flags than I got Norwegian. Doesn't mean I don't love my Norwegian heritage. I got, I speak English more than I speak any other language, including Spanish. Those are the top two American languages, in this area. I don't know Norwegian that much. It's not because I don't love my family or my heritage. It's just because all of that is, I got a lot of heritage. And I got a lot of history. And we were able to have that because of the hard work and hard love put in by a lot of people. So this week, just show some love and appreciation. God bless.